Speaker Johnson wants the Supreme Court to step in on Trump's verdicts. Roll it.
I haven't had conversations with the justices. I just know their character, their personality. I know what they've said in the past. They are deeply concerned, as we are, about maintaining our system of justice. I think they're concerned about using courtrooms for politics and political retribution. We all are. We all should be. Every American. That's what I was referring to, and I think in their heart of hearts, they're concerned about it just like we are.
All right, Roger Severino is a former DOJ trial attorney and joins me now. Roger, can the Supreme Court step in?
Yes, it can. Maybe not right now because there's an appeal process, but if he's actually convicted and sent to jail, he was already convicted. If he's sent to jail, there's a petition called habeas that could go to federal court. But this just goes to show we're discussing whether or not a former president running for office right now might face jail time. This is shocking that America has reached this point where we're trying to convict political opponents instead of deciding at the ballot box. I mean, President Trump was right. After the real conviction, the real decision, the real verdict is going to be on November 5th.
But do you believe that this was a deliberate political having a go at Donald Trump politically through the courts?
Oh, absolutely. They invented a crime, and the legal errors are just legion. Here you had a politicized judge with a politicized prosecutor and a politicized jury pool inventing a new crime of a federal campaign finance violation based on falsification of state records. It is so confusing. And then the judge said, you don't even have to be unanimous in the verdict. You could have 4 juries vote for one, 4 for another, and 4 for another. It was choose your own adventure. That is not how legal systems run. And it just goes to show this was politics from the beginning. It was about getting Trump, showing the man, and I will show you the crime. It's just like the communist days all over again. Unfortunately, it's happening here in the United States.
Roger, Utah Senator Mitt Romney accused Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg of committing, quote, political malpractice by pursuing the Trump case. Seems like Republicans across the board are supporting Trump after these convictions. What say you on this?
Oh, yes. He just raked in $200 million in donations. That is extraordinary because the American people see right through this, right? This is a politically charged election interference. They're trying to take away the people's vote, the right to decide this at the ballot box instead of in the court of law. And this was a kangaroo court. And the American people were responding in droves. And you mentioned earlier the African-American vote. You would see an uptick there, too. You know, there's a whole lot of concern over African-American exposure to the legal system. And now President Trump says, hey, look, I could relate. I was railroaded, too. This happens. It could happen to the president. It could happen to you. It happens in the country. And we cannot have a weaponized justice system. Right. And that's one of the key campaign promises of President Trump, de-weaponize the justice system.
Okay, Roger, now listen to this. Former FBI Director James Comey, he says putting Trump in jail is doable. Roll tape.
Do you agree with that it would be difficult or nearly impossible for the law enforcement institutions to put him in actual jail?
No, they would just put him in a double wide somewhere out near the fence, out in the grass. And he would eat there, he'd shower there, he'd exercise there, he'd be away, as Danya Perry said, from general population, but it's obviously doable.
Roger, what do you think the chances are that Donald Trump will actually wind up in a jail cell?
I hope it's low, but the radical left shows there's no bottom to how craven they could be. The fact that it is a possibility is shocking. And look what's happened. It is as if the dog finally caught up to the bumper and caught it, and the left doesn't know what to do. They wanted to convict President Trump, 34 felonies. Most people get jail time for felonies. Maybe they'll put him in house arrest. Maybe they'll put an ankle bracelet on him. Who knows what they're going to do? They had their show trial, and now they're afraid of the consequences because they realize they made a tragic mistake here. The American people are rallying to President Trump. The radical left got what they wished for, but now they're realizing that maybe they should have been more careful what they wish for.
Trump says he's okay with house arrest or even jail. What do you make of that? Perhaps he wants it.
Well, yeah, there was a member of Congress was talking about introducing a bill to take away Secret Service protection of former presidents, to try to increase the odds if he goes to jail time that something bad happens to him. That is just extreme, right? The Secret Service is there to protect the president no matter the circumstances. And again, the fact that we're even discussing this shows that this is politics pure and simple. They distracted him from the campaign trail. He was sitting for weeks in a trial. He couldn't go out. He had a gag order. And this is the weaponization of the justice system. We are better than this as a country, but unfortunately, we're now joining the ranks of other countries. that are called banana republics. This is a shameful day in our history. The Supreme Court hopefully will come to rectify this, but if they don't do it in time, the American people will November 5th.
Roger Severino, thanks so much for joining us, Roger. We'll see you again soon, I do hope. Thank you.